Cool, that's good. Welcome, guys, to another Wednesday evening session. We're gonna have a good chat today because something you guys been talking to me on different calls. We're gonna talk about this thing called your recipe, right? Your irresistible product or offer, whatever you want to call it. And some of you guys sent me a question as well. We'll look at the questionnaires. And at the end, we're going to talk about a couple of you guys sent me the presentation as well. So we're going to review the presentation on this call just so that you guys know what other people are doing and how we actually look at the presentation. So we get to review it at the end as well, right? So today, really want to chat to you guys about the recipe, and you probably heard me talking about this quite a lot about this concept, the recipe. Um, I use this word quite often because I said, I got it from Jamie Oliver because of his recipes, right? Jamie Oliver taught me this thing called recipe, or you can call it anything you like. It's just the way you do things, right? Basically, what it means by your recipe, your way of doing things. Because, see, you must understand this one concept out there, right? People don't just buy stuff. People in, especially in our world, right, it's not a product people can hold it. They're just not going to come to you and say, I'm really feeling happy or lucky today, I'm just going to buy from you. So this doesn't happen that often. I mean, it happens in Tony Robbins' world, but it doesn't happen in our world, right? So it's really, really, really important. So until you have that huge brand like Tony Robbins, you must talk about something which is very different, very unique. Yes, brand is very different way of looking at a brand, is the entire thing, right? But we talking about recipe, very specifically recipe, and I want to explain this to you guys. What do I mean by recipe and why you must have a recipe, right? So all your clients you must understand this one thing is all your clients are coming to you is sorry, just give me a second. I'll have somebody asking me the Zoom link. Surprise, surprise, they don't have in the calendar. Just give me a second, right? I'm just going to send this Zoom link very quickly. Where are we? Where are we? Messenger. I don't need to share. Just give me a second. All right. All right. So we all must understand this. For us or for people to buy from us, they're looking for step-by-step instructions, right? They can buy from anybody. See, you'll see in the marketplace there are a lot of people providing the similar kind of solutions, right? There are a lot of people build the websites, there are a lot of people build the brands, there are a lot of people do the logos, there are a lot of people do stuff like the way you do it, right? So the only way people are going to come to you if they see a system, if they see step-by-step instruction, they see that this person, whoever, this person, you in this case, is can take me from here to there, using the system, using the steps, and recipe is part of that. And so you must understand that people looking for steps, people looking for instructions, and why they're looking for instruction, you also must know this, right? So see, the reason most people buy stuff from externally is because they want to bring order into that place. They want to bring order, right? At the moment, they don't have an order, right? In everything, like say, for example, I know how to build websites. I could go out and learn how to build a website, or I could just hire somebody because learning will take a bit of time. And also, same thing, I could actually go and buy, learn from a books and read a lot of books and find out how to buy a property, right? How to build the property portfolio, how to do that sort of work as well. But I'm not doing this. And what's the reason? I could go out and hire people like Jason, right? So there's different things. You must know that people looking to hire is because things in that very specific area of their life is not in order, and they want to bring order into that place, right? So people hire cleaning companies. They could just clean it, but they hire those people because they want to bring the order into that place. So recipe acts really well in that space because recipe provide the step-by-step instructions how to bring that order into that place, right? Step-by-step instruction, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This is what you do to take it from A to B, right? So we all must have a recipe, because if you don't have a recipe, people won't come and buy from you. They might just buy because they know you, they like you, but to expand it at a different, at next level, you must have some sort of recipe. And we're going to talk this through a step by step how you can actually make it happen, and what do we actually mean by that as well. And we're going to go through it. And you must look at now, when you look at your product and you look at your services, you ask this question: do I actually have my recipe? So today you might be using somebody else's recipe. So this could be the reason as well, right? So you might be using somebody else's recipe. Somebody else done the work, given you a recipe, and you can sell that. Yeah, that's fine as well. But as long as you have a recipe, and you must look at it, do I have a recipe in my entire offer? Because once you have that, that makes an irresistible product or offer for you, right? So this is what we're going to look at it. So we're going to talk about an irresistible product first, right? What is this irresistible product? What is this no-brainer offer? What is this where people just can't say no to? How do I create that? Because see, all of you guys are going to sell something. You're going to stand up and sell, whether you sell one-on-one, over the phone, through the Zoom session, whether you stand up and do the selling, right? You're all going to sell something, or you're probably selling something. So you must have this irresistible offer, which is people just can't say no to. They must have to have it, right? I always look at it. What can I give it to them? They just don't have any answer, or no, they can't just say no to, right? So how do you find out that, right? So the first starting point to creating any irresistible offer, and you can write it down right now, to answer this question on behalf of your client. You must answer this question on behalf of your client. And the question is, if only I could, right? If only I could do this or have this, all that, you must answer that. So if only I could just walk properly or play with my kids, right? So if you're working on somebody's physical posture, and you want to fix their back, you want to fix their shoulder, this is the question, right? If only I could move my arm, right? If I only could build the wealth which can help me retire quicker and faster, right? If only I could have 10 more clients. If I only could have love and connection with my partner, all that, right? So these are the questions you must do the whiteboard session, right? So you sit down and say, how can I complete this for my clients, right? So you don't think from your perspective, you think from your client's perspective, right? So first of all, am I actually making sense? Are you guys getting this? Does it actually make sense? Because I'm just going on tangent at the moment, right? So I just want to make sure that you guys getting this, right? So irresistible offer is the biggest thing, right? Yeah, absolutely, right? So must remember this, right? So you need to get into your client's mind, need to get into the client's mind and think this. I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example, and this is just my use case for you to see it, how the process go through. See, last weekend, I actually had so I work on my business as well, exactly the way we do it on your business, right? So step by step, I do the same thing in my business. And I was doing a whiteboard session and said, how can I complete this sentence for my clients? How can I do this for my clients, right? Right? How do I do this? If only I could do this, right? If only I could do this. Yeah, absolutely. You can ask them. Yeah, true. So you can ask them this question: can you complete this sentence for me? If only I could, you know tell them to, when you're doing the interview, ask them to fill this sentence at the end. So I was thinking that I was doing a whiteboard session and figured that out. How do I do this? So I figured that out. In my clients world, what they're looking for is if they get to this amount, which is a $20,000 amount, they would jump out of the bed. They would be like, holy crap, if only I could make $20,000 a month. Right? This is the way I saw it. And I said, I spoke to some of you guys as well. And, you said, holy crap, this is pretty cool. So this is the way I do it as well. So you can do that for yourself. Answer this question for yourself, right? For your clients, or you could actually ask them. Absolutely. You could, as a part of the interview process, ask them, right? If only could, right? So if you do this, this is a starting point. Remember, this is a starting point. This is not the ending. This is just the start of this, right? So once you have that, then we construct an offer. So Must remember this when I say what do I mean by offer, right? So there is a very distinct differences. Sorry, there is a very huge, big differences between when I say recipe and offers, right? So you must understand the distinction or differences between these. So can you guys see this at the back? Can you guys see the entire thing? Just want to make sure you guys can see this. Can you guys see this? Or should I bring it closer? Can you see this? So I want to talk about this offer, and I want to talk about this irresistible offer and first, right? Yeah, cool. So what is this offer? Yeah, if okay, you can see it. So I'll move around and I'll move on this side if you guys could see it. All right, can you guys see it now? Right, is it a bit better? Okay, so let's have a look at what is this offer, right? What do I mean by offer? See, I'm going to put. So all of you guys know that your clients are sitting at point A and they want to get to point B, or they're sitting at their current situation, they want to get to the desired future, right? This is what your clients are looking to do. They all have a current situation, they all have a desired future, which is a point B. And to get to the point B, your offer comes in the middle. This is an offer. This is an offer, right? So you fill that gap by providing the offer, right? So this is what happens. So you can take them from A to B or point A to point B by giving them your offer. So your offer must have certain things. Your offer must have certain things to make them get to one point from A to B, right? Your offer must have your recipe. Your offer must have your recipe. You must have the system, right? Your offer must have some sort of tools, templates, right? So you are in this program. Yes, I've given you my recipe, but also I've given you my tools and templates as well, right? Templates, you're filling out the templates. This is my recipe as entire offer, right? Number three, you must have a support, right? Your offer must have a support. So these are the three things your offer must have, right? So how do I actually construct that offer? How do I make this offer better? How do I design that now? That's the question, right? How do I design this offer for my clients? See, we know that from A to B, they want to get to, I want to give them the offer. So in the offer, you must have your recipe. We're going to look at it. Awesome, Anu, good to have you. Who else we got? Brett is here as well. Awesome, good to have you guys. So we're going to look at it now, how you design that recipe. What do you must have in the recipe, right? So this is what I see it as, right? So the question for you to answer is, if your clients are sitting at point A and they want to get to point B, right? If they're sitting at point A and they want to get to point B, what do they need to do it? What do they need to do? And I'll fill the gap for you, right? So the question is, what do they must learn? What do they must learn from A to B? What do they must learn, right? We have a Anouk on the call. So in his client's world, they must learn something about blockchain, right? That's his world, right? So what do they must learn? Number two is steps. What are the steps they must follow, right? What are the steps? Means that if they want to get to point A to point B, step one, step two, step three. These are the steps, right? What are the steps they must follow, right? The other one is, do they need any change in their mindset? So when I say mindset, do they need any change in the way they view the world, the way they see the world? Do they need a change in that, right? The other one is, do they need a change in habits? Do they need anything they need to learn new thing? Means that if they want to be, say for example, if they want to lose 20 kilos from here to here and they want to do it, they must wake up early and do a bit of exercise, right? They must do all that sort of stuff, right? So these are the habits people must have. The other one is number beliefs. What belief they must have to get from here to here? What belief they must have, or what belief they need to get rid of it. If you're talking about money and you want to help your clients make money, they are making 10,000 and you want to help them to get to $50,000, they must get rid of certain beliefs, right? Certain beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I can't make this much money, money is the root of all evil, right? All that sort of things they need to get rid of. So this is the belief change as well, right? So the other one is what tools they must have. What tools they must have, right? What tools they must have. So are you guys getting the point, what we need to do to create this recipe? Are you sort of getting the gist of it? Say, how do I create my recipe? So your recipe are the steps which people or your clients must take to get to from point A to point B, right? This is your recipe. So it means that they must do certain things to get to from point A to point B. If they don't do it, they won't get there. The best way to look at it, what do they need to do, right? What do they need to learn? So these are the steps. Do they need to learn new things? Do they need to have some sort of steps, right? Certain things they must do. Do they need to shift in a mindset, right? What sort of mindset they must have? The other one is, do they need to acquire new habits? What are the things they need to? Yeah. So what are the beliefs they must have? What are the beliefs they must have? What are the beliefs they must get rid of, right? The other one is what tools they must learn, what tools they must use. Because if they don't use those tools, it's not going to be able to help. Like, for example, if you're helping certain people, to do a weight loss, say for example, and you have an app, they must learn how to use that app, right? They must learn how to use that certain app. And in my case, certain examples is you must know how to use the computer, right? Because you're going to log in on the internet and go through my videos. If you don't know how to do it, you wouldn't be able to do it. So you must learn that sort of tool set. So does it actually make sense? Does it actually make sense? Any questions on this? Any questions before I keep going to the next one? Any questions on the recipe? Any questions on the recipe? How do you create your recipe, right? So the entire thing is taking people from A to B, taking people from A to B. What are the steps they must follow, right? So if you are in one of those people who's saying, I'm going to help people reignite their love and relationship between the spouse, husband and wife, what are the steps they must take? What are the steps they must take? How do they go from A to B, right? What are the things they must do it to make it happen for their business? Because, sorry, to get to the point B. If they don't do it, what's going to happen is your system is exactly the same as every other. So one of the things will kill your business sooner than later is randomness. Definitely, right? So say, for example, you acquired one or two clients today because they knew you, they saw your video, they liked what you do, they just loved what you've been doing. So you might acquire them today, right? You will not be able to sustain and have continuous clients keep coming to you if you don't have this. Because of that, yeah. So it's a context of education. Sorry, in the both, because in the context of education, you'll be showing them this recipe. You'll be showing them in the delivery. You'll be doing it, right? So what happens is, as I said earlier, you'll give your recipe away. And when you stand up and you present and you're doing an education, you'll be actually showing them this recipe. This is the steps I'm going to use. And when you sold it, then after that, you'll be doing with them. Like, say, for example, if my come to, that first workshop you guys came to, I'll give you all the steps, right? Go and 90 days, you do this. right? Go and find out your niche market, go and find out, stand up and present. All these steps were there, right? So what I'm doing now is walking you through those steps. Means that the recipe I shared with that in that event, and I gave you away for free, and take it away and you can do it yourself, right? But then after that, I said, do it with me. This is what happened. So do it by yourself, take it away and do it yourself. And if you come with me, you can do it with me as well, right? So that's where the recipe comes. Exactly same thing as I said earlier. Mr. Jamie Oliver taught me this, and I'm really thankful for that because he probably didn't even know that, right? So what he was doing. So made sense to me, perfect. Like, it's sort of aha moment which I had while watching him, and it was like he's giving away his recipe for free, right? He stand up and speak and gave his recipe for free. This is what we do. This is what I do. And when I looked at everybody else, I think directly or indirectly, all the people who you might follow in the education world or in the this what do you call this all this industry, what we influencer industry we in, they all do the same thing, right? They give their recipe away. So we do the same thing, give the recipe away, and this is the recipe, but you must construct this recipe, because if you don't do it, it's just like a presentation like anybody else. So you don't have anything to sell. Means that there is nothing uniqueness about your product, because everybody today buy things from people because they see that you are better organized than them in that area of life. That's it, right? The reason people buy from other people is just because you're better organized. And by showing them the system, what you're trying to tell them, that you are way better organized because you have a system, you have a step-by-step instructions. If somebody comes, or 5 people come, or 10 people come, they can follow this system and take the same results, right? That's the reason you probably now look at it. My entire presentation, I show them and I make them believe that they must have a system, right? So my belief is they must believe that this system which I'm going to show to people, it works exactly as McDonald's system or IBM system or Tony Robbins system, right? I want them to have this belief that if I use this fast growth system, everything is going to be like that. So remember, the belief is the most important thing, right? So now the question is, say if you guys remember it, right? We're going to review certain presentation today. I think I've got 1 or 2. See how much time we have, but we review one presentation today. What is the one thing I'll look at it when I look at any presentation? What is the one thing? What is the one thing? And we all must look at that one thing. When we look at any presentation, what is that one thing? See if you guys know. What is that one thing? Yeah, absolutely. Good on you. Yes, that is so true. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. Yeah. What do I want them to believe? See, what do I want them to believe when they leave this room? Yeah, you absolutely passed. I think I looked at your presentation, looked pretty cool, but we'll review it today. Right. So when they leave this room, or when they're sitting there watching me stand up and speak, what belief am I creating in them? Right? What do I do to make them believe in certain way? Because the reason they buy, because they believe it, right? And we can create that belief. If you create that belief, everything's there. Yeah. Yeah, so I think you can create a different beliefs, right? It's really important to see that you could create a many different beliefs, but we want to create a belief which is in our favor, right? Means that you want to make them believe in a certain way, so at the end of that they should buy something from you, right? Because the reason you're running that presentation, the reason you're standing up and speaking is because you want to sell your product, you want to sell your service, and that belief must be aligned with that thing. If we don't do it, it's just going to be like any other presentation, right? People come and go and you're just going to be standing up and speaking. So it's really important. So coming back to the point is recipe, right? Does it actually make sense now for you to have this recipe, right? So does it make sense that you must have this recipe? So all of you guys, if you creating your presentation, if you're going to stand up and speak, like in any place, Yeah, if you're standing up and speaking and you're going to sell something at the end, or you're going to get them to have a phone conversation or have a meeting with you, you must say this thing: what I'm going to make them believe, right? What am I making them believe? And then you present your recipe, and recipe make them believe that yes, this person has got a better way of solving this problem, right? That, because you're going to start with one problem, one problem which I'm going to solve today, and that problem is this, right? We're going to work on this one problem, and that one problem you're going to solve. Where that one problem going to come from? That problem going to come from the question you ask: if only I could this, right? If only I could do this. Because you're mentioning if only I could do this, for in my clients world, when I spoke to them, the only thing they said: if only could have 10 to 15 clients. That's it. That's my client world, right? So, and you can answer that: if only could. So my entire presentation was created based on how to get 10 to 15 clients, right? The entire thing is based on that. So this is really important to answer that question on their behalf, even speak to them and see how they, fill that blank, right? If only I could do this, right? Sometimes they're going to do a fluffy word as well, right? If only could just go to the beach and lie down there and have my beer, and that's it, right? So they're going to say these kind of stuff as well. So you want to make sure that so ask them the question after that: what's stopping you get there, right? So ask them better question. So if don't create a presentation based on saying, all right, I'll teach you how to sit on a beach and have a beer, right? So that would be weird. But ask them this question: what's stopping you get to that level, right? What's stopping you go to the beach? And then they're going to tell you, oh yeah, the reason is because this, right? So you must ask them better question, because if you ask them better question, they'll give you the better answer, right? It's really important. So recipe is a main thing today. I really wanted to discuss that. You guys must know that, must have it, because your recipe becomes your system, and because that system is in place. System includes this entire thing, right? Your recipes, your tools, your templates, everything. This is an offer which we give it to people. Like, for example, my offer is fast growth program, and a fast growth system is the system includes everything, right? So that's an offer for other people. um, and when people see that, they're just going to see exactly step by step how to grow your business fast, right? So you can do the same thing for your client world as well, exactly step by step what they must do to build the recipe. Cool. Any questions on this before we jump on to Brett's presentation? Any questions on this? Yeah, yeah, they must believe in that. True. And it's your job is to make them believe in certain way, right? Because if you don't do it, so my specific recipe are the three steps: the system, remember, the Facebook ads, stand up and presentation, educate your clients. Then the other one is conversion, right? That's the entire recipe I share in the fast growth program. Oh, sorry, in the presentation. So what we're teaching now as well, same thing. Facebook ads, we'll do it. And the presentation, which I'm teaching right now, which we're going to review in the middle, right? So that's the entire recipe. Yeah, that's fine, Brett. You can watch the replay. Cool. That's good. All right. So let's have a look Brett's presentation, and we'll review it as well. And it'll sort of gives a bit of chance for all of us to see this. Let me click on the link and see where's Brett. All right. Let me have a look, guys, quickly. All right. There's the link. I got the link. All right, so let me download this and I'll share the screen with you guys so we can actually start this. All right, while I'm looking at this presentation, any questions? Questions. All right, let's have a look. Where are we? Cool, let's do this. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, can you guys see the screen? Let's go through this. So let's look at this presentation as an external audience. So I'm going to ask you certain questions, right? So we're going to look at certain questions, right? So we'll see what is this presentation all about. Brett says that how to become a superhero musician, right? So this is the title of the presentation. Then Brett talks about him, who's he. So I'm the guy for this. And he says that it took me 20 years to prepare for this. Cool. Toured around Australia. That's where they completed 5 albums, 2 in Italy, studied human behavior, personal development, spent 30,000, build a music school. That's good. Been working with the private clients as a coach over the last 2 years, testing. And awesome. That's good. Can anybody tell me what's the reason for this slide? I think it says that at the bottom so you guys can see it anyway. But what's the reason for this slide? What's the reason for this slide? Yeah, good. You can see it. Let me actually put it the other way around. See if you guys can see the stuff. Yeah, framing. Yeah, framing as what, Colin? Framing what? What are we trying to frame? I think Mitch mentioned that above. Authority, yeah. We're trying to build the authority. We're trying to build the credibility by telling people this, right? We're trying to build that. Yeah, authority, absolutely. So now we're talking about did you know, right? Did you know this? And what did he know? So musicians are 3 times all this, all this, all this. So these are the stats, right? So what's the reason of these stats? Can anybody tell me? What's the reason of these stats? Why we show people this stat? Why do we show them? So you must learn the concept behind it, because if you learn the concept, you'll be able to create any presentation, right? So this is just the template. Tomorrow, somebody comes and say that, I want to sell shoes. Yeah, you must know that how to do it. The authority framing plus describing the problem. Yeah, absolutely. Right? So you're telling the problems, you're putting the problem on their face right now, right? Before that, because otherwise everybody might think that there is a problem. Everybody might think there is a problem. Everybody might say there is a problem because, see, you want to bring, there is a gap in the audience at the moment because they're on different level of a problem. They might have understanding or they might not have understanding of the problem, right? So what I want to do is I want them to bring to the same level. Everybody thinks that yes, it's a huge problem, right? So now it's appreciated, won't waste your time, right? So this is good. This is for you, musicians, all these, and pretty much all the target market. This is for you, basically for your target avatar, right? This is for you, saying this is for you guys, right? This slide is for webinar, but that's okay. People who want things, yeah. So this is basically for webinar, but we won't do this for live presentation. So my goal is to show you how to turn your art into a full-time career you love, to help others and be your own superhero, right? That's the title of the presentation, basically the goal, right? How you can get the most out of this, right? So yeah, standard rule, which is fine, setting the rule. So my story, everything was fine up until 27, mastering my craft as a musician, and I just assumed eventually I would be famous. Cool. 2010, frustration, confusion, mentor, right? So this is how it started. So tell the story at 2010, kicked my mate in the shin. I knew something was wrong. Started teaching school, personal development. This was, man said to me, it doesn't matter how much music you play, equipment you buy, and how good you are. You will never succeed because you have an internal conflict. Internal conflict, what the hell is that? He said, the only way I can help you is if you pay or do $4,000. I don't have a problem. I'll show you. I'll be famous. So you will see, right? See, what he's doing now is, so somebody said to him, yes, I can help you with this thing, and it's going to cost you $4,000. And he said, I don't have a problem. I'll show you how to be famous and I'll do all that, right? So he's basically trying to say, I don't need your help, right? Somebody said to him, I can help you, but then he's saying, or Brett's saying, I don't need your help, right? So 12 songs in 12 weeks, right? This is what I do. So this is what happened. He hit the glass ceiling. I think he's sleeping outside somebody's or his house. Pretty much doesn't have. We can't solve problem using the same thinking created, right? So it's using Albert Einstein's example that yes, he hit the ceiling and didn't know what to do, right? So I had to believe that if I had just worked harder, wrote better songs, did crazier project, I would break through because I saw my father do everything himself. If I asked for help, I would consider it to be a failure, right? So this is what he's saying, right? He's saying that I would never ask for help. So now think of that. His clients are pretty much walking through the same path. They're not asking for help. They would consider themselves as a failure if they do the same. I love it. So after a year of chaos, I went back to this person or this man and asked for help because I wanted to know what is this internal conflict was. What I learned changed everything. So now everybody's intrigued. What the heck he learned? Now, can you tell me, are you intrigued as well? Right? Does that make you look at these slides and say, yes, I want to know more? If I just stop here, how do you feel? How do you feel if I just stop here? Would you want to know? Would you want to know? Are you guys still here? Yeah. Yeah, do you want to know, right? And I'm the same. If I see this and he's telling me he was a mess and somebody said to him an internal conflict and I can help you, and he didn't listen to that person. Spelling. Um, yeah. So it's really, really, um, really, really, really well, right? In a way that you look at it, see, high quality relationships, communication with other professionals. I started my own business. So this is what he learned and changed everything in a while, right? I learned how to trust myself, not to take control, right? These are the things he learned. I discovered my big problem. This was my big problem. What was it? I had the knowledge, I had the skill, passion, but I was trying to successful using the same thinking that created it. Yeah, yeah. Spelling mistakes are good. Makes people look at the presentation, right? So I would say keep it. Brad, if you're listening, just keep it, man. Don't change it because everybody's going to point in that slide and saying there is a mistake. And you say, sorry, oh, shit, I was really busy. Just keep it. So I would never, I would personally never change a spelling mistake only for one reason, because it makes people feel that. Remember the let's go back to the framing word again. What does make you feel? If you're sitting in the presentation and you say, hey, there is a spelling mistake, means that you won because the presentation, good to have mistakes. Yeah. So, and also, yeah, good to have the mistakes. People believe that, oh, he's relatable. Yeah, that could be one of them. But some people say, oh, he didn't do it. And, he didn't do a spell check and all that. You make them win. Sorry, I made a mistake. You make them win because they want to feel that, oh, they discover, right? Because they discovered it. So it's a good thing. So I will never change that. But let's go back to this. I discovered my big problem. I had the knowledge, I had the skill, the passion, but I was trying to be successful using the same thinking that created it, right? Good, doing everything but getting nowhere. No one was paying attention to me, and lack of confidence. Okay. So now, does it actually make sense? Too much drinking, yes. Yeah. So my realization was throughout the following years, I made the realization that so many others were having the same challenges. Don't know how to turn their skill set into income, want to buy a house, can't deal with people with the ego, don't have a plan of, all these. See what he's doing now, very, very clever, right? Which is pretty cool. See, my realization in that topic, what he's putting together is doing everything what he gathered in the interview, right? So he interviewed his perfect target market and he spoke to them and they told him these things. And I think he's just putting it there exactly as what they said to him. Exactly that, right? Battling mental health challenge. See what I was trying to do. So this is the way he's showing to people. Where are you now? Improving the skill set and become a superhero musician. So I wasn't getting there. I would just keep going back to the same thing. So pretty much going back in circles. Pretty cool. I like it. So I wasn't getting to where I want to get to, right? The only way I could go through is where you are now, inner conflict. Okay. So just one suggestion. I think one thing which I feel here, where are you right now? Inner conflict. So I think this in the middle one, this in the middle where it says inner conflict, must talk about or say that resolve inner conflict, because in here you're here, step here, and you want to get to this superhero musician, they must resolve this. Don't want to have it, right? Does it make sense? So you don't want to get to this superhero musician by having it. You want to resolve it. So you must say resolve, right? um, cool, this is good. So this is nice, good comparison. Yeah, very cool. To help others resolve their inner conflict and be their own superhero. Do what you love. Help others. So here's a client testimonial. See, this is very cool. So he showed them this, and then after that, he showed them the system, client journey. I felt like I'd forgotten. Very good. Very good. Very impressed. I'm sure now you get the idea. Yeah, park the old learning. I'm not the greatest musician. Very cool. But in the last 10 years, I've mastered the art science behind resolving inner conflict. Yeah, good. What is superhero musician? Very good. Confident, clarity, and certainty. Inspirational, right? Cool. This is what it is. So superhero musician system and the three V's. Values. Okay. So I believe what is superhero musician system. So what I this is good and this is good. I feel, Brett, in the middle something is missing, because see, you cannot jump from telling the superhero musician this is what it is, right? This is what it is, and then jump into this. So you must tell a story in the middle. See, after working with so many people, I created this system. So you must say this in the middle or have a slide to transition from that. Say, because of working with so many people, I helped so many people, and after helping so many people, I created this system. It's called superhero musician system, right? So there is a bit of slide missing, I think, or you probably have to speak through it. So superhero musician, three V's, perfect. Values, wide, and vision. Perfect, cool, three V's. So can you see that now, the system which we talked about earlier? Point A to point V. These are three V's, right? He's giving three V's, which is his name, the way he want to define it. Values, cool, good. Um, all the values, awesome. That's good. Values in action, which is testimonial, which is awesome. Cool. Voids, inner conflict are created by voids. Good. What is void? Explain, good. That's good. That's good. Void, not being understood. That's good. I like this last one. This perception created my value. Awesome. That's good. And anything that you can't be grateful for is a baggage. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Anything that you are grateful for is a fuel. Awesome. Void in action. That's again, it's a testimonial. Void in action means that's. Number three is a vision. What would I ultimately love to dedicate my life to? Yeah, that's good. This is an exercise. He asking this question. People can do this. Putting it all together, once your values are clearly defined and your voids are balanced, but yeah, good. Vision in action, good. So ROI, okay. So this is done, ROI. So what happens if somebody use this system? Confident, confidence, clarity, certainty, clarity, and you. Good. Would you like me to tell you what mistakes most of you going to make after this? Yeah. You'll go and do everything else. Yeah, too hard to give up. You'll exactly what I spent time entire year. You'll do exactly what I did as well. Some of you will be double. Yeah. My gift to you is covered along token. Yeah. Thank you. All right. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Now you've seen the presentation. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me bring this back. So now you watch this entire thing. Did you have the belief? Did he manage to create the belief? Right? Number one belief. What is the number one belief he must have created? Oh, go back to the first thing. Let's answer this. What is the number one belief he must have created? Where are we, Chad? Okay. Where are we? So let me know, what do you guys think? The number one belief, look, I believe truly his number one belief he should have created is in the entire presentation is this. So now the question for you to answer is this: has he managed to do this? Has he managed to do this? This is the number one belief he wanted to create. Right? Did he manage to do that? Did he manage to do that? Yeah. Yeah, so I think I like it. The only thing which I think Brett knows that as well. The only thing which kind of not working or won't work um, is just that wording. I think the wording probably need to be changed, which is the inner conflict. Because people don't want to admit it. See, this is, again, one of the things which I really want to talk, because this is what we discovered as well as part of my journey. You know, I would never call myself as a success coach or, all these, whatever, right? Success coach in a word. Oh, good response, Anouk. Very good. Thank you. So he didn't make it clear. So I think, Brett, if you're listening, I think Brett's going to watch the replay. So Anouk said, you did do the pretty good job in creating this one belief, which is a superhero, right? But the other one is you didn't clarify how to make it a full-time career you love, right? And help others. Cool. That's very good. Yeah, good response. Very good. I believe that as well. Now, thank you for mentioning that because it's pretty cool, right? Full-time career. You can't do this. I haven't mentioned in any way. How do I create a full-time business or a job if I'm my own superhero? So the second belief is good. You can become unstoppable. You can become a superhero musician. But yeah, full-time career you love, it's not clear. There's no connection, which is good. Cool. So very good point. So yeah, it's really important for us to know that when you call yourself a success coach or when you say to yourself you resolve inner conflict, people don't want to admit it. That they have an inner conflict, and that, or we all know that we all have it. We all have it. We all have it, right? If we don't have it, that's the biggest inner conflict we have. We all have it. So always have it, right? Should I leave at 9 o'clock or should I leave at 9:15? That's inner conflict, right? Should I get up now or should I get up later? Should I take my daughter to gymnastic or should I get my wife to do it? Should I cover this topic or should I cover the other topic, right? That's all inner conflict. Everybody's got it in that sense every day, minor ones or big ones, depending which one. We all have some sort of inner conflict every day. But this is good. I think it's very good. Done a very good job, and need to get it to the different level to sell. But I like it where you are. But yeah, change few things, Brett. If you're listening, some of the things I think we need to be really, really clear on the goal. Do you actually want to give them this goal, full-time career they love, right? Become superhero. I think we talked about it. The naming probably need to be changed to match what they're looking for, right? What they're looking for in this. I haven't received your presentation, Fiza. So did you actually want me to review it on this? So this is what you guys have to do, right? So if you log in there is a template exactly like this, right? So can you share the link here, Fiza? I'll look at it. Please share the link here, so I'll have a look. Let me have a look. In the meantime, while Fiza is sharing the link, let's have a look at the questionnaires. People send it to me. If you just share the link here, then I'll look at it. So does the venue matter where you organize the event? Who asked this question? All right. So from your side, Fiza, not really. The venue doesn't matter at all. Like from your perspective, right? I think wherever you can get the cheapest one, that matters the most, right? Don't spend $400-500 trying to get the venue because that won't help. uh, don't spend it for the first time. You must never spend 400-500. If you can't get it less than $100 anyway, you should consider doing it in the city, because in the city, as I said to you, there is a place here, there are few places where you can get it for $100 easy. I gave you the address as well, right? So that's the main one. So don't spend time on that. um, yeah, so Reese is here. Reese, how much you pay for the co-working space for the events? Right? So Reese is pretty good. Reese does the events as well. Reese, how much do you pay? Do you have any cheaper venue? Anything you know? Any pricing you have available for us, which you can share with other people here? Okay, co-working is about $300. Yeah, cool. So co-working is about $300 and or under $300. So speak to yeah. I feel that when I'm presenting at part of the large event, my authorities. Yeah, so I think Anouk, your world is a bit different world as well, right? So you you're when you at the different people's event, that's a usually a corporate, a big company event, right? It's a big people's event. So uh, if you even stand up and get people to come because you've been speaking about that for a long time, right? Your authority is there. That's because you've been there for a while. You built your credibility for a long, long time. You're part of the blockchain center. You teach people on different platforms. So you don't need to, you don't need to justify your authority. Everybody know you in the marketplace. They just Google your name. So you're already there. So the only thing now you need to do is you have the authority, which is well truly, which is good. You don't need to do much work. Now how can you direct those people who believe that you have the authority and direct them somewhere where you can actually make money? That's what you need to do now, because authority work is done. Most people in this on this call, they're still establishing their authority, and that's why they have to do a bit of hard work. For you already have that. You don't need to, which is cool, right? Which is very, very cool. All right, let's look at it, how much time we have Fiza's presentation, right? And very quickly, and see if we can actually do this. All right, can you guys see the screen? Right. So awakening the power within. Cool, that's good. It's Tony Robbins. All right, so your name, I'll be your host. That's fine. Took me 10 years to prepare this. My first achievement was stood up life experiences. Mm. All right, so the first thing by looking at it, Fiza, too many text, too much text. You might want to reduce it and just say one liner, right? So too much text. In the good, did you know that in a good solid relationship, both people encourage and bring out the best at each other? Nah. All right, so big piece of advice on this is you want to do shocking thing. You want to talk about shock. Shock means that give them some sort of shock. To move means that you say, did you know that divorce rate is about 70% in this country? That's a shock. But holy crap, 70%? That's a shock, right? Did you know that after 5 years of marriage, when the kids move out, 90% of the couple gets separated? That's a shock, right? You want to give them a shock. Cool. And also, yeah, you must give them a shock. That's fine. We appreciate it. Um, presentation is for if you are a woman who's struggling and juggle in your relationship with your own husband and partner, understanding them. Now, too wordy, and also it's not right as well. If you are a woman who struggle, and now it's not right wording. Fiza. It's the word it's need to be reworded. Just too much text. It's not a simple, right? Very simple. It has to be simple. My goal is today to show you how to get your partner to love you, respect you in the next 90 without losing your worth. Yeah, yeah, I like this. And yeah, I think this is your perfect target market. So you must talk about your perfect target market. Um, this is good. I like this. How you can get most, that's fine. It's not there. Okay, so this is not done yet, right? This is not done yet. Okay. My husband, international student, our spouse having this. Right. Wise man advice. God help. Um, yeah, I think physics not done yet. So you probably have to remove everything else, all these text, which is as a template. You don't want to have this here because you don't want to show people this, right? So when you get a chance, let's do it a bit better next week because you're going to see. When I say example, this is not even completed right. I don't know what biggest problem your clients will today. So you don't want to keep it there. Example is my example there. So you don't replace the example. Means that you put it here. That's it. Remove everything. Example was for you to see it, see how you can actually fill this template. So yeah, yeah, I think yeah, the entire thing. Yeah, I think let's do it next week. It's not done. So take a bit of time and fill this in, and then we'll review it next week. Cool. Yeah, it's not done yet, but you're on the right track, right? So fill that based on that, and then do a step by step. All right. Want to talk about something very quickly before we leave as well. I want to talk about the things you must understand this, right? So I was speaking to I don't know that many billionaires in my life. I only know one, and had an opportunity to speak to him. I still remember the words. And I was looking at my diary a couple of days ago and took the notes I took when I was sitting in Ray Dalio's room. And I still remember that he said 4 or 5 things. And I want to share this with you guys before we depart today, right? So I remember this, right? Wealth is not, you can't build wealth overnight. And whoever says that is either a liar or either trying to get your money. People who talk about a lot of stuff building a wealth overnight, it doesn't happen, right? Wealth doesn't get built overnight. It's tiny things. You remember that what Steve Jobs said, and he talks about always the small things which matters the most, right? Small things which you do it every day consistently for longer period of time, that matters the most than anything else. So work on the small thing. And the other thing I remember that he talked about, building a wealth or doing the work which we all working through. You all must get used to this grind, this work, right? Nothing happens quickly. You must do certain things to make it happen. So enjoy this process, because some of you guys are frustrated, right? I have to give you know I have to give credit this week to Fiza trying to figure out where to run her event and going out at different venues and trying to fix and find this. Where do I, get this? Where do I run my next event? So it's a big thing, right? So this is the work you must do to go through this entire thing, because this is part of your journey. And the best thing you could do is you could document everything. If you're going out in the cold, take your camera out and record that, because in next couple of years you're going to look back and laugh, and you can show it to your clients. See, I failed. This was my first event. I was going through this, right? So this is very important. You must do it. And the question which got asked to me today by, I think was Anouk as well, so I'll answer this question before we leave as well. Do you have an exit in mind for this business? um, for this one, I'm doing very specifically, Anouk, no, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to teach, right? There's nothing exit as planned. No, not at all. For me, this is the lifestyle I want to live. Absolutely. I want to go out and speak. And I think my next is I just want to go out and internationally do the same thing. So I'm just going to keep doing the same thing with the same niche market, and I'm going to expand to the globally as well, right? Globally, right? Same thing. I'm going to take it to Sydney. I'm going to take it to Melbourne, other parts of the world, right? Today, I'm doing this thing only in Melbourne because remember this, what I said last week as well. Try on a small niche market. So I know this thing works in Melbourne. So I'm going to actually do that in Melbourne. I'm going to do that in Sydney. I'm going to do that in Brisbane. Take it to Auckland, Wellington, Perth, Darwin, Cairns, and then after that, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Bangalore, Hyderabad, all the other places too, right? That's the plan. But take it step by step. All right, guys. Have a enjoy your night. It's a Wednesday night, pretty freaking cold outside, so have fun. And if you want to speak to me, organize a call, message me on Slack or Messenger, MSN, or no, not MSN anymore. It's called Facebook. Sure, shit, which world I'm living in? MSN Messenger. Where did that come from? That was long, long ago. MSN Messenger. Who remembers MSN Messenger, by the way? Does anybody even know that what it mean by MSN? MSN Messenger. Do you guys remember MSN Messenger? Yeah, you wouldn't remember that, Anouk. Microsoft, Hotmail, MSN, Messenger. That was a long time ago. I'm talking about 20 years ago, not 20,000, 20 years ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the time, it was pretty funny, right? MSN Messenger was the only one you could speak to or use. All right, guys, have fun, enjoy your night, and I'll speak to you guys on Sunday. Cool. Have fun.